I have a theory that changes everything you know about Mario.
What if Peach is the true villain of the entire series who secretly enslaved the Mushroom Kingdom? But before we get to that, here are 7 of the craziest Mario theories that fans actually believe. So let's build our way up to that one and start with something more tame, like how Bowser is really not a bad guy at all.
And to see evidence of this, we have to go all the way back to Yoshi's Island on the SNES.
This was the earliest we see Bowser in the timeline, when he was no more than an innocent baby orphan. But who had an army back then? Kamek, stated as Kamek's forces by the game itself. Only the Toadies were a part of it, so Kamek was looking to expand. And who was the perfect candidate to lead this new army of his? Baby Bowser. Yes, Kamek then stumbled upon Baby Bowser as an orphan and took him under his wing so he could use him to lead his growing army. Throughout all the games, Kamek's biggest trait is his mastery of magic and spells. So what if Kamek has been using a mind control spell on Bowser ever since he was a baby, manipulating him as a pawn in his quest to conquer the Mushroom Kingdom? But why do all this in the first place, instead of just controlling an army and leading it himself? Well, we can clearly see that Kamek is a smart guy. He sees that Bowser is the strongest of the Koopas, a natural leader that the Koopas and Goombas will listen to, making it a lot easier to control one person rather than a whole army. Not to mention, it's a lot safer for Kamek to not be the face of the army. Bowser is the one who's always taking a beating, while Kamek sits in the shadows and watches. And when Bowser fails, Kamek is the first one to pick him back up, revive him, and put him back in the ring again. Because it's him with the plan this whole time, and he needs Bowser for it to work.
And that's just theory number 1.
Because each one from here on out will get weirder and more wild. Like how Yoshi is really a Pokémon, or that there are actually 2 Marios. And if you think that's weird, I have something weirder, because YouTube told me that no one has subscribed to this channel with their pinky finger. So let's see if you can change that by hitting that subscribe button below.
And for now, let's look at Wario. Like, who is this character really?
A villain? Rival to Mario? Or perhaps he's a crazy superfan that doesn't know how to control his emotions around his idol Mario and takes things too far. Sounds crazy, right? Well, let me explain. Wario literally dresses like a yellow version of Mario and just flips the M on his hat upside down. I mean, seriously, you think his name is actually Wario? That's not even Italian. But it's rather a stage name that he calls himself to show his appreciation to his idol. But if we want some more concrete evidence of this, then we have to look at Super Mario Land 2. See, the plot here is that Wario takes over Mario's castle. Now, this is perceived as a malicious act, but I'd say it's just Wario wanting to be Mario so much that he doesn't know when to stop. Like, isn't it interesting that he chooses to leave all the statues of Mario up and doesn't replace them with himself? He literally wants Mario's life. And I mean, why would you not? Just look at Mario. He's the main hero in this universe, meaning he has a lot of fame and money. And Wario is constantly trying to get those things too in every game. It's literally his whole personality. Really, Wario doesn't do anything malicious in the games. He just tries to one-up Mario. No pun intended. So this is Wario just trying to prove himself worthy to the person he admires the most. And in the games where Wario does work alongside Mario, well, that's Mario finally giving Wario a chance to prove himself to be the hero too. I mean, being this crazy superfan for so many years, Mario has had to have noticed Wario in all that time.
But wait, I got another one. This time focused on Yoshi, because much like Wario, this little secret of his will change everything that you know about him.
And this is the fact that Yoshi is not from the Mario universe at all, but is actually a Pokémon. I mean, yeah, sure, the Mario series is home to a bunch of weird creatures and animals, but Yoshi definitely is still the odd one out. And surprisingly, there's a good amount of evidence to support this idea. Firstly, Yoshi is the only Mario character that comes from an egg. And where do all Pokémon come from too? Eggs, but not just any eggs, ones that look stupidly similar to Yoshi eggs. I mean, this sort of resemblance can't just be a coincidence. Then there's the way Yoshis behave. You can find wild Yoshis in the Mario series, but there's one that's more loyal to Mario that he can ride on and use to fight other enemies. Sound familiar? Because that's exactly how Pokemon function. Some remain wild, while others form bonds with trainers. So could Mario actually be a Pokemon trainer trainer with a single Yoshi in his team? Yoshi also has 3 distinct forms throughout the series, which closely resembles the traditional 3-stage evolution system in Pokémon. There's Baby Yoshi, Normal Yoshi, and his final form, Dragon Yoshi. This evolutionary progression mirrors how Pokémon grow stronger over time. But perhaps the most compelling piece of evidence in this, all Pokémon share one particular trait. They can only say their name. And what does Yoshi say? Yoshi! And nothing else. No other character in the Mario series communicates this way, so it can't just be coincidences at this point.
Okay, so if we're now talking about multiple universes merging together, then it wouldn't be that crazy to say that there are actually 2 Marios in this universe, right?
For this theory, we need to go back to the very first appearance of Mario, all the way back in the arcade version of Donkey Kong. Because here we can see the introduction of 3 characters: Donkey Kong, Pauline, and Mario, or Jumpman as he was called in this game. However, things got interesting with the release of Donkey Kong Country, because here we found out that the Donkey Kong from the arcade game is actually Cranky Kong, and the young Donkey Kong we see now is actually Cranky Kong's grandson. Which begs the question, in all the games after, how do Mario and DK appear together when Mario should have aged a lot more? He's a grandpa now, like Cranky Kong. Well, because Jumpman is actually not the Mario in all the new games, but rather is that Mario's grandfather. It's not even simply due to the age difference, because when taking a closer look, these characters are so different from one another. Jumpman is from Brooklyn and has Pauline as his love interest, whereas Mario lives in the Mushroom Kingdom and fancies Peach instead. They even have different jobs, as Jumpman was a carpenter in the original game, whereas now we all know Mario as a plumber. What about Pauline though, I hear you say? She reunites with Mario in Odyssey and doesn't appear to age either. Well, it's because these 2 Paulines are not the same person as well. I mean, just look how different they look from each other. The only similarity is their dress. Plus, in the original, she was only referred to as Lady, which now makes sense. This would explain how Mario and DK were enemies in the past, but are now friends in current games like Mario Kart. Because really, it was just their grandparents that were enemies in the past, and a few generations later, they all cool.
And now we're getting on to the big ones, because here I have a theory that will flip the entire Mario universe upside down for you.
Because throughout the entire Mario series, Mario has only saved Peach 1 time. You think it's a reoccurring trend? You think it happens in every game? Nope. Just once. And that occurred in the very first Super Mario Bros. Game. All the other rescues after were not what you think. So in Super Mario Bros. 1, he does do something heroic and saves Peach from an evil turtle-like monster. Then, in Super Mario Bros. 2, the whole story is revealed to be a dream in Mario's head, which is really Mario fantasizing about his rescue of Peach in the first Mario game. So, he then takes it a step further in Mario 3 and turns his one time where he saved Peach into a play. Since Mario 3 opens with curtains, has various elements bolted to the background, and this was even confirmed to be a play by the creator of Mario 2. So this is him glamorizing and showing off to the world the events he did in the first Mario game. But what's next for Mario? Turning this adventure into a TV show, which we can see in Mario 64. Since there is a visible camera that constantly follows and films Mario the entire time. After his Mario 64 movie was a success, he goes on to make a hit TV show with multiple seasons called Mario Sunshine. And we could see this since each of the missions are now called episodes, which all contain a unique plot from one another. At this point, Mario is really milking all his fame. This also makes more sense in the spin-off games. Take Mario Kart, for example. This is just all your favorite actors from the Mario show racing each other to further promote Mario's brand and movies. It would also explain why Mario and Bowser can just put aside their differences from the main stories to go kart racing, because they're all actors. Paper Mario, well, that's various books that are written about Mario's adventure. Mario sports games, those are just like celebrity boxing matches. Wario and Luigi even make sense, as they are cheap knockoffs of Mario, using his brand to make money from it themselves. So really, the entire Mario universe is just a bunch of actors in costumes, reenacting Mario's first rescue of the princess.
Okay, now these theories are getting interesting. We're just about at the one that shows that Peach is really actually the true villain of the entire Mario series. But for now, let's talk about Luigi.
Because Luigi may be a lot more powerful than we initially thought. So powerful, in fact, that Mario needs to watch over him or else he may accidentally cause mass destruction. Let me explain. It's pretty well known that Luigi has a better moveset than Mario with his higher jumps and all, but this gets taken a step further when looking at his Smash Bros abilities. While Mario has simple punches and kicks that combo into each other, Luigi has these devastating attacks that can become explosive if you hit your opponent right. This is just the tip of the iceberg, because when looking at the RPG games, we can see that he is much more powerful than that. In Dream Team, Luigi has the ability to open a pathway into the dream world, a unique power that no one else has. In Super Paper Mario, it is suggested that Luigi is the reincarnation of Count Bleck's great-grandfather, making him able to host the Chaos Heart, a powerful artifact with the ability to annihilate all worlds across existence. Yes, he is the one that can do that. So this makes perfect sense that Mario has to keep a close watch over Luigi to keep his powers contained, or else terrible things can occur. I mean, just take a look at what happens when Mario leaves him alone, which we can see by the stories Luigi tells in Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. He has multiple adventures alongside Mario, but Luigi's are way more chaotic and destructive to the kingdom he was in compared to Mario's adventure. And finally, what is Luigi most scared of? Ghosts. And this is because out of all the enemies in the Mario series, ghosts are the only ones that can possess other creatures. Meaning they're the only species that can possess Luigi and use his powers of mass destruction for evil. That's why Luigi is so frightened of them.
And here we come to the ultimate conspiracy theory, but not conspiracy, the truth about Princess Peach, because behind her makeup and cute smile is an evil, authoritative dictator.
But how could this be true, you ask? Well, let's first take a look at the place she rules, the Mushroom Kingdom. A place where everything, including all of its inhabitants, are mushrooms. So then, what's with the Goombas? Why are they working with Bowser? Well, because Peach kicked them out of the Mushroom Kingdom as she thought her and her toads were superior. Having nowhere to go, they went to the Koopa Kingdom and now live there. So in order to keep her power in the kingdom and keep the Goombas out, she made a bunch of propaganda that portrays all the Goombas and their leader Bowser to look like a villain. Yes, what if instead of these cameras and plays being used for wealth and fame for Mario, they're actually used as propaganda created by Peach herself to make Bowser, the Koopas, and all the Goombas look evil from the eyes of the Toads. This would explain why Peach seems so useless all the time in the games, literally just letting herself be captured. But when you actually do get to play as her in the other games, you find out she can totally hold her own weight, being able to kill Koopas and Goombas on her own. And that's without even mentioning her crazy abilities in the Mario RPG games. I mean, why does Bowser even want to capture Peach in the first place? There's no reason for it. And that's because it's just a concept that Peach made up herself to show how bad Bowser is. Look how Peach treats all the Toads too. They're nothing but a disposable army to her that she's using to keep her in power. Like, actually uses them as meat shields when Peach has so many other ways to protect herself. In Mario 1, why do you think Mario keeps going to the wrong castle and saves Toad? Because the Toads have to trick Mario into thinking Peach was here in order to be rescued, or else no one would come and save these poor Toads. They already know Peach won't, but even so, they still remain loyal to her because she and Mario are the only humans that can protect them from Bowser's so-called evil army. So she uses the propaganda as a way to control this giant Toad army in order to keep her in power and continue ruling the Mushroom Kingdom.
But hey, that's just a theory, an infinite bits theory. Thanks for watching.